Okay, and welcome to the very first Priority Science screencast. Now, this screencast is a visual and an auditory way of helping you to revise for your upcoming GCSE examinations. Now, all our screencasts are recorded at the Priority Screencast Recording Studios, and the aim is that they're going to give you a way that you can look over the key points of particular topics at your leisure. Okay, so this particular one we're looking at Core Biology 1A, Control and Health. It's going to be split into two parts. We're going to start with control, and then in the second part or second video we're going to be looking more at the health aspect. Okay, some of the key points in this topic are the nervous system, hormones, homeostasis, the menstrual cycle, and diet and exercise. Now, within human beings, we have a nervous system that allows us to react to our surroundings and coordinate our behaviour. Now, we have different parts that make up our nervous system, and an important part are what we call our receptors, and they're found in our sense organs. Now, receptors detect stimuli, which is basically a change in our environment. So it could be touch, pressure, pain, or light, for example. You might want to stop the slide at this point and see if you can fill in this table linking sense organs to the particular stimuli that they respond to. Now, within the nervous system itself, we have different types of cells. Okay, we have sensory neurons, we have relay neurons, and we have motor neurons. Now, each of these have different jobs, slightly different structures, but we don't need to worry about that too much right now. Sensory neurons carry signals from the receptors, which are found in our sense organs, to the spinal cord and the brain. Now, these two things control the action. Now, relay neurons carry messages from one part of the CNS, or central nervous system, to the other. Just get rid of that. And motor neurons carry signals from the central nervous system to effectors. Now, I'm going to show you a quick thing. We have two main types of responses. We have either what we call voluntary responses or reflex actions. Now, voluntary responses happen under conscious control, so we know that they're happening. And the coordinator, or the thing that controls these, is our brain. Now, for example, an insect crawling on our skin, we can look at it, we can have the option whether to flick it off, for example. A reflex action, however, are rapid, really quick, and involve automatic responses. Now, the coordinator for these, or what controls it, is the spinal cord. And they have more of a protective function, these types of reflex actions. For example, blinking, or coughing, or withdrawing ourselves from pain. Now, if we have a quick look on BBC Bite Size, we can see a reflex action in action. Now, in this particular scenario, I'll go through it step by step in a moment. We see the first thing that happens is that the hand moves near a stimulus. In this case, it's heat. Now, obviously, we don't want the hand to be there because it will get damaged by the heat. So a pain receptor is stimulated. Think about it again. The receptor is what picks up the stimulus. In this case, it's the skin. Next thing that happens is this red neuron, the sensory neuron, has a signal sent to it. Now, because we want the action to be really quick, it doesn't really have time to go to the brain, so it goes to this area here called the spinal cord. Next thing that happens is this green one, the relay neuron, does send a message to the brain, but more importantly, the relay neuron sends a message directly to the motor neuron. Now, what can happen is that if we look, the motor neuron is embedded in the muscle, which is our effector, and that causes a response to happen. So in summary, we can see in this box here, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can pause at this point if you want to. In summary, really, a reflex action is used when we need a quick or automated response and to protect ourselves. Okay, for you higher level candidates, we also need to know about synapses. Now, nerve cells don't actually touch one another, so they need a way of transmitting the information from one cell to another, from neuron A, for example, to neuron B. This happens at these things called synapses. Now, what happens is that a chemical messenger is released from neuron A, and it passes along this gap or synapse and activates neuron B. Now, obviously, we don't want this to be happening all the time, so once the chemical has correctly cause the response in B and allow the message to be passed on, the transmitters are destroyed. This prevents the cell from firing a response constantly. Okay, so if we quickly recap, our nerve impulse pathway is as follows. We have a stimulus, which is a change in the environment. We have this affecting a receptor, which are cells that detect the stimulus. We have a coordinator, which controls the action. And we have an effector, which could be a muscle or a gland that brings about a specific response. Okay, simple. Now we're going to move on to a subject called homeostasis. Homeostasis is basically, key thing you need to remember here is that homeostasis means keeping the internal conditions within your body constant. So keeping everything the same. 4 things that we need to really concentrate on keeping the same or keeping constant in our body. Can you think about what they might be? Okay, very well done. They are indeed the water content of the body, the ion content of your body, your temperature, and blood sugar levels. Now, I'm not going to talk in detail. The information is all there for you, so you can pause this slide as well and have a quick read through that if you want to. Now, what on earth can cause this to happen? What's responsible? Glad you asked. Hormones and glands. Now, hormones are chemicals secreted by glands in the body. Different hormones affect different target organs. And the bloodstream is the thing that's responsible for transporting hormones from the glands to target organs in the body. If we go back to our good old friend BBC Bite Size, we can see that there are a number of hormones and glands in the bodies. There's a table here showing target organs and the effect of glands and hormones. For example, the pancreas is a gland which releases the hormone insulin. The target organ is the liver, and this controls blood sugar levels. Now, the more switched on of you will have thought back that blood sugar levels is one of the things that we need to control via homeostasis. Okay, so these hormones are very important chemical messengers within the body. Place where the hormones act are very important is within the menstrual cycle. Now, this in women is a recurring process in which the lining of the uterus or womb is prepared for pregnancy. But if pregnancy does not happen, then this lining is shed at a period of time called menstruation. Now, many hormones are involved in this cycle, and they have a number of different jobs. We're going to look at some of the most important hormones in this cycle that you need to remember. Okay, some of the menstrual cycle hormones include FSH, estrogen, and LH. Now you can read through this slide yourself. I'm going to quickly blast through it and show you a little graph of it. Okay, FSH makes 2 things happen. It causes an egg to mature in the ovary, and it stimulates the ovaries to release the hormone estrogen. Estrogen is secreted by the ovaries, and estrogen also makes 2 things happen. Firstly, it stops FSH being produced. Now that's so that only 1 egg matures in a cycle. Secondly, it stimulates the pituitary gland to release the hormone LH. Now, LH is the hormone that causes the mature egg to be released from the ovary. Now we can show you this in a graphical form here. If you look at this particular graph here, we see that at different times of the month, the levels of hormones are different. So LH, as we mentioned, causes the mature egg to be released from the ovary, and it will raise around this day 14 point, which is when the egg is released. So hormones have a real effect on the body. You may be asked to interpret graphs such as these. Okay, I'm going to stop this particular video at this point, but before I do, I'm going to put up this question. You can pause it at this point, and now I'm going to put up the answers to the question. Okay, make sure you've had an attempt before I put up the answers. Okay, here they are. So we have the question, pause if you want to, and the answer. Okay, I'm going to stop this particular video now, and we'll carry on with part 2 of B1a. Okay, click straight on it. Bye bye.